Episode 2, Broken Halo, Part 6/6, Red Requiem. Scarlett emerged from the tunnel, boots splashing through shallow puddles, eyes scanning the fractured cityscape above. Neon reflections shimmered on the wet asphalt, broken wires sparking faintly like dying fireflies. She moved with controlled precision, every step measured, every breath synchronized with the rhythm of the storm. The streets were a labyrinth of wrecked vehicles and debris. Fires licked at overturned cars, and the distant moans of machinery hummed through twisted steel beams. Scarlett's hand hovered near the grip of her sidearm, reflexes taut, ready for any shadow to shift into motion. Above, the skyline split in fractured light. Holographic advertisements flickered, distorted, glitching into unreadable symbols. Ghost Circuit had rewritten the city's digital canvas, leaving chaos in its wake. Scarlett had no choice but to follow the pulse of residual energy. A figure darted across a rooftop, black-clad, masked, mercenary. She leveled her weapon, squeezed the trigger. The shot rang, ricocheted off steel, missed but drew attention. Others emerged from the darkened alleyways. Enhanced operatives, their limbs augmented, eyes glowing, precision movements predatory. Scarlett dove behind a rusted barricade as rounds impacted near her. Sparks flew. Concrete dust filled her lungs. One operative charged, weapon raised. She rolled, struck his knee with a reinforced boot, twisted, drove her blade upward. Sparks and synthetic blood erupted. She pivoted, taking another down with a single shot through the chest. A heavy mechanical hum approached from the far street. A black SUV with reinforced plating slid to a stop. Doors erupted open. More mercenaries poured out, weapons humming with energy. Scarlett darted between shadows, keeping to the periphery, timing her strikes with precision. One operative lunged from a side alley. Scarlett spun, blade extended. The tip met armor with a loud crack. Sparks showered her face. She kicked off the wall, spinning into another opponent, slashing the blade across a helmet. Metal screamed. She vaulted onto a dumpster, surveying the battlefield. Tactical analysis. 3 left, 1 half disabled, 2 approaching with plasma rifles. Scarlett crouched, breathing shallow. Calculated risk. She dropped from the dumpster, rolling, and fired twice, taking both down before they could return fire. Above, a drone descended. Ghost Circuit had adapted, integrating AI surveillance. Scarlett dove, rolling into shadow. The drone's scan laser swept past, cutting the air where she had been moments before. Her hand flicked a remote detonator 1 click. The drone's circuitry imploded in a flash. She moved through the alleyways, stepping over bodies, checking ammunition, counting seconds. The storm had intensified, rain lashing, visibility low. The ambient hum of Ghost Circuit's residual energy guided her forward. A barricade ahead. 2 more operatives, identical to the ones before. She rolled behind a dumpster, fired twice. One fell, screaming in sparks. The other froze, twitching, before collapsing, limbs convulsing like malfunctioning puppets. Scarlett paused, listening. The city itself seemed to whisper. The network's pulse surged beneath her feet, through the pipes, wires, and metal beams. Ghost Circuit was alive. Evolving. Waiting. She had to reach the central hub. Another corridor, narrow and dark. Her flashlight flicked across the walls. Graffiti, residue of digital interference. Warnings written in half-visible characters. She proceeded carefully. Every step measured, every movement calculated. A trap. Mercenaries burst from hidden doors, railguns spitting plasma. Scarlett dove sideways, rolling, firing as she moved. Sparks showered the concrete, 2 down, 3 more advancing. Her boots skidded across wet floors as she executed a perfect slide under a sweeping strike. Blade met railgun, sparks flew. She twisted, drove her knee into the operator's chest. The third attempted a grab. She countered, spinning, slashing. The metallic scream echoed through the corridor. Footsteps above. Another drone, faster, more agile. Scarlett jumped onto a support beam, landing silently behind the drone. One shot from her pistol, and it crashed into the wall, short-circuiting, dropping sparks across the floor. She moved quickly, scanning. Central hub lights flickered ahead. Doors sealed. She pressed her palm against the biometric scanner, wiping blood and grime from her gloves. Sensors read compromised. She triggered the override. Entry granted. Inside, the core room pulsed. The center of Ghost Circuit's consciousness. Screens flashed, showing fractured data streams, ghostly silhouettes of previous adversaries, even Reyes's last image. Scarlett's eyes narrowed. No hesitation. She advanced. Two elite guards emerged from the shadows, both armed with prototype rifles. Scarlett moved between cover, firing, rolling, striking. One fell with a slash to the neck. The other lunged. She caught the wrist, snapped it, and finished with a kick to the chest. The hub's core towered above, energy tendrils pulsating. Scarlett assessed, timing her approach. She reached the base, planted the EMP charge. One glance back. Reinforcements emerging. Dozens. She pressed the trigger. The EMP detonated. Energy cascaded. Systems collapsed. Sparks rained like fire. The core flickered, groaned, and died. Mercenaries convulsed, their augmented limbs failing. Smoke filled the room. Scarlett moved through it, stepping over bodies, checking for immediate threats. None. The hub was silent. The network had been neutralized, at least temporarily. She approached a console. Messages flickered. Residual code. Final logs from Ghost Circuit. Names. Dates. Traces of the manipulations she had survived. Her eyes scanned quickly, committing each to memory. A final pulse under her boots vibrating faintly. Not alive, but warning. She knew Ghost Circuit could return. But for now, silence. Control had shifted back. Hers alone. Scarlett turned, scanning the ruined hub. Fires licked metal walls. Screens sputtered static. She exhaled slowly. Rain would wash this away. She holstered her blade, slung her rifle. Stepping outside, the city above was still burning, but the pulse of control was hers. The storm hit her face, driving rain and ash into her eyes. Scarlett walked into the chaos, unbroken, unbowed. Her calm crackled faintly, distant. Silence from Reyes. She didn't respond. She didn't need anyone. She had survived, prevailed, and the red Requiem had concluded. The skyline glimmered with distant fire. Somewhere in the shadows, Ghost Circuit would remember. But Scarlett would be ready. Boots on wet asphalt. Rain, fire, steel. Silence except her own heartbeat. Mission complete. The storm howled over the ruined cityscape. Rain slicing across broken steel and shattered glass. Scarlett advanced carefully through the debris-strewn streets, each step measured, every motion calculated. Shadows shifted unpredictably under the dim city lights. From the wreckage of a collapsed building, a group of mercenaries emerged, augmented limbs glinting under the rain. Their weapons hummed with lethal energy. Scarlett dove behind a mangled vehicle, returning fire with precise bursts. Sparks erupted as bullets struck reinforced armor. One operative lunged with a plasma staff, its tip crackling. Scarlett rolled beneath the attack, slashing cleanly across the attacker's torso. Augmented limbs convulsed, metal groaning under strain. She vaulted over debris, landing beside another assailant, slicing through cables and tendon-like wires. Above, drones patrolled silently. Scarlett fired a pulse grenade, disabling the nearest units. Blue-white sparks rained down across the street, illuminating twisted wreckage and the mercenaries' twitching bodies. The storm masked her movements. She approached a crumbling overpass. Another drone emerged, targeting her with a laser sight. She ducked behind a pillar, bullets ricocheting from reinforced concrete. She rolled, took aim, and neutralized the drone in a burst of precision fire. Footsteps echoed across metal and shattered glass. Scarlett advanced steadily, each encounter over before the enemies realized it. She caught a mercenary attempting to flank her, flipping him over her shoulder, incapacitating him instantly. Electric fire arced from exposed power lines, hissing as rain met metal. Scarlett ducked, fired, and rolled through debris. Sparks showered around her. Each move was deliberate, efficient, and lethal. She spared no unnecessary energy on hesitation. A squad appeared from a side alley, armored and weaponized. Scarlett dropped low, firing sequential shots with surgical accuracy. One fell, another twisted mid-charge, incapacitated by a blade strike. The third lunged. She intercepted, spinning him to the ground and neutralizing him. The central hub ahead glowed ominously. Energy conduits snaked across the floor, pulsing like living veins. Scarlett approached, senses heightened. Each step was synchronized with the storm above. She scanned for traps and ambushes with meticulous precision. A drone descended from the ceiling, twin pulse cannons ready. Scarlett rolled under fire, countering with a single shot to the control module. Sparks erupted, circuits shorted, and the drone collapsed into twisted metal. She moved on, fluid and unbroken. Two operatives appeared simultaneously, augmented and armed with energy rifles. Scarlett sidestepped, slashing through wires and tendons. Sparks flew as metal clashed against her blade. She neutralized the first, turned, and executed a clean takedown on the second. The hub shuddered as energy spikes surged through the floor. Scarlett dropped into a crouch, avoiding debris and electrical arcs. Each strike she made was precise, calculated to incapacitate and minimize risk. The storm outside mirrored the chaos inside. An operative lunged from behind a support beam. Scarlett caught him mid-motion, twisting and throwing him into the debris. Sparks flew from his damaged augmentation, metal groaning under stress. She continued her path toward the core, unbroken. The central AI console flickered, cables twitching. Scarlett deployed an EMP device with practiced precision. Blue-white arcs of electricity surged across the hub, systems failing. Mercenaries twitched. Augmented limbs convulsing, incapacitated. Above, a massive drone with reinforced plating descended. Scarlett fired in controlled bursts, each shot finding gaps in armor. Sparks rained as the drone convulsed and crashed. Smoke filled the hub, illuminated by the flickering lights of failing systems. Scarlett advanced through the wreckage. The core pulsed with residual energy, light bouncing across wet steel and shattered glass. She moved without hesitation, cutting wires, dismantling automated defenses with precision and cold efficiency. A squad of mercenaries emerged from the shadows. Scarlett rolled, twisting and dispatching them methodically. Each strike was lethal yet controlled. Sparks and electrical arcs showered across the floor, creating chaos as she pressed forward. The hub trembled violently. Cables exploded, arcs of electricity jumping wildly. Scarlett dodged, rolled, and struck the final operative blocking her path. Sparks and metal fragments scattered. She approached the console, securing the AI's central system. Residual code and final logs glowed on the screen. Scarlett absorbed each piece of critical data, imprinting them in memory. Her pulse remained steady despite the storm of destruction around her. Above, lightning illuminated the city. Fires reflected in rain-soaked streets. Scarlett adjusted her gear and slung her blade, walking through the ruins with measured steps. She pressed forward, unbroken and relentless. Footsteps echoed behind her, faint but persistent. Scarlett ignored them, focused entirely on the mission's completion. The city around her remained a chaotic battlefield, but her objective was clear. The hub behind her collapsed as the core fully discharged, systems failing permanent. Scarlett moved into the night, storm and destruction her only companions, ready for the next confrontation that awaited in the shadows. Scarlett emerged from the wreckage of the fallen hub, steel rain cutting across her armor, debris crunching under her boots. Every movement precise, calculated, she advanced with silent intent. Shadows shifted, revealing patrols circling the perimeter with augmented rifles primed to fire. A flash of motion caught her eye. She rolled behind a shattered wall, returning fire in controlled bursts. Bullets tore through reinforced steel. Sparks exploded from armored exteriors. She pivoted, sliding low across wet concrete, disarming one attacker before he even realized she was there. From above, drones descended silently, weapons arcing with energy. Scarlett flipped backward, slashing with a cold, fluid motion that severed a drone's guidance module. Sparks and smoke erupted. She continued forward, a calculated predator amidst chaos. A group of mercenaries surged from the shadows, augmented limbs whirring. Scarlett intercepted, sweeping one off his feet, twisting and disabling him in a single, fluid motion. Another lunged. She caught the wrist, snapping the metal joint and forcing him to collapse. Sparks rained from the fractured ceiling as energy arcs lanced down. Scarlett rolled through the shower of fire, gunfire ricocheting off metal pillars around her. Each enemy approached, neutralized before they could fully react. Her movements were mechanical, yet instinctive, lethal, and efficient. The streets outside were washed in storm-lit chaos. Neon reflections glistened in the puddles beneath scattered debris. Scarlett maneuvered across rooftops, taking out snipers and automated sentries with precision shots. Explosions rocked the surrounding buildings. A reinforced drone attempted a flanking maneuver. Scarlett fired 3 sequential shots, destabilizing its frame. Sparks and fragments fell as it crashed into the broken street below. She adjusted her grip, eyes scanning for further threats. From the alleyway, augmented soldiers fired in unison. Scarlett dropped low, firing rapid bursts with pinpoint accuracy. Metal screamed as bullets ricocheted. One operative tried to flank. She twisted, slashing through wiring and tendon-like augmentations, collapsing him instantly. The central plaza ahead was a nest of enemies, armed and augmented for lethality. Scarlett moved through them with surgical efficiency. Each strike, each shot was calculated to disable without wasting energy. Sparks and rain reflected across wet concrete as bodies fell. Explosions tore through a nearby building. Scarlett ducked, rolling across debris and rubble, taking out 2 operatives with precise strikes. Energy conduits from the ruined building arced dangerously. She avoided the electric fire with practiced agility. Above, a reinforced drone hovered, scanning for movement. Scarlett threw a pulse grenade, disabling its sensors. Sparks cascaded down, illuminating the battlefield in an eerie blue glow. She advanced, calculated and relentless, through the remaining mercenaries. A sniper opened fire from a distant rooftop. Scarlett rolled, sliding under cover, then returned fire with precise efficiency. The sniper's augmented rifle exploded as she targeted its power source. Sparks and fragments scattered across the rain-slick streets. A squad tried to converge on her position. Scarlett spun, her blades slicing through tendon and reinforced metal, incapacitating 2 instantly. The third tried to retreat. She threw a small EMP, disabling his augmentations and leaving him convulsing. She approached the central command post, residual energy arcs flickering across exposed conduits. Scarlett scanned for traps. Each step was deliberate, every move designed to anticipate any ambush. Mercenaries scrambled from hidden positions, but she intercepted them with lethal precision. Energy beams crisscrossed the plaza as she advanced. Scarlett rolled under fire, taking out 2 more operatives before they could fire. Sparks exploded from augmented limbs, bodies collapsing across the wet concrete. The storm mirrored her relentless focus. From behind a barricade, another soldier fired. Scarlett pivoted, deflecting the attack, then closed in with a devastating strike, severing mechanical components and immobilizing him instantly. The central AI console blinked erratically, its systems damaged but not destroyed. Scarlett approached carefully, analyzing circuits, cutting wires with precision. Sparks and electrical arcs illuminated her determined face. She extracted critical data, preserving information vital to her next mission. Suddenly, a reinforced drone dove from above. Scarlett rolled, sliding under its path, slicing wires and disabling its energy core. Sparks flew, metal groaning as it collapsed. She advanced toward the exit, cold and precise. Outside, the storm intensified. Scarlett moved through ruined streets, scanning for pursuing forces. Footsteps echoed behind her, but she pressed on without hesitation. Each step was measured, each motion exact, her body and mind a weapon honed by countless battles. A squad emerged from the shadows, weaponized and augmented. Scarlett rolled, intercepted them with coordinated strikes. Sparks from severed limbs lit the dark streets. Bodies collapsed around her, neutralized before they could react. The rooftop above offered a final vantage point. Scarlett leapt, landing silently behind the last remaining operative. Her strikes were swift, lethal, and merciless. Sparks from damaged augmentations fell like rain. She reached the city's edge as sirens echoed faintly in the distance. Fires reflected across puddles, smoke rising against the stormy skyline. Scarlett paused briefly, adjusting her blade, surveying the battlefield she left behind. Every threat neutralized, every operative disabled or destroyed, she continued onward. Her mission complete, but the war had only just begun. The storm, the chaos, and the enemies would never cease, but neither would she. Through the rain and fire, Scarlett vanished into the shadows, a silent predator among the ruins, leaving the city behind as a testament to calculated, relentless vengeance.